Jesus. Tell me what you think about Christ. Made their sacrifice now. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all, everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation, all our but foundation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Tell me what you know about love. Tell me what you know about hate that keeps us separated. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all in every way. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Oh Lord, so many can testify. Lord, oh Lord, but you still can't satisfy. You keep on praying. You wish that day would come when there'll be equal rights and justice for every man. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love.
Okay, good morning to the general public. Welcome to another program of Policing with You. We have in the program today Sergeant Jerry Watt and Constable Davy, both from the White Collar Crime Unit. As technology advances, so too must the laws of the Federation also advance to catch criminals and also deter persons from committing offenses. In keeping with that phrase, today on this program we'll be speaking about the Electronic Crimes Act. Okay, that is what we'll be touching today, and Sergeant Watt and the Detective Constable Davy will be assisting us in explaining to us several details surrounding that particular act. So welcome to the program, both of you officers.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks for coming. I know the department is a very busy department, so I want to thank Sergeant Watt and Davy for taking time out to come and assist us with this particular act. So we're going to jump straight into it. What is the purpose of this act, the Electronic Crime Act, and the section of law which speak to this act?
Yes, good morning to our listening public. I feel it's quite timely that we are here today. I believe we should have been here some years ago because this Electronic Crimes Act has been around since 2009. Persons oftentimes commit offenses relating to computers and they're unaware that they have committed offenses. One of the things is that the law, or it is presumed that every man knows the law. Regardless of not you actually knowing the law, it's not an excuse to commit crime if you claim that you are not aware that you have committed a crime. So this act was created mainly to prohibit the unauthorized access of computer systems and computer devices, and it seeks to prevent the misuse and abuse of information stored on computers. The act also cater for incidental matters arising with the use of computers and the system itself.
Okay, so the term ignorance to the law is no excuse.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
It's correct in this regard.
Yes.
Okay, so under this particular act, computer device is mentioned, and we the general public often think a computer device is mainly a desktop computer and keyboard and those kind of things. Can you explain what does the law defines a computer as?
Yes, so for the purpose of the Electronic Crimes Act, it of course includes computers like the laptop and desktops, but the law also goes a bit further to include any electronic device that has the capability of processing data automatically upon instruction or command. So it also speaks to having the ability to store data as well. So by that definition, it includes things like cell phones, tablets, even a Nintendo Switch could be considered a computer, or a smart TV that you could probably send an email from.
Smart TV too?
All that would be considered computers within the definition of the law. So, of course, the regular computers or the laptop and the desktops, and for persons who might be a bit more familiar with these things like mainframes and supercomputers, they are computers.
And servers and all those kind of things.
They are computers, but things like a cell phone, your smartphone, or your iPad, all of these things will be considered to be computers according to the law.
Okay, so and if anybody use any device like this,
yes,
any computer, commit an offense.
Well, as long as
it falls under the Electronic Crimes
Act. Yes. So the first thing we'll have to do when we investigating crimes is to determine whether or not the device used was a computer or not. And of course, computers includes a wide range of devices.
Okay, thank you very much. And computer systems.
Well,
is that the same or different?
It
speaks of computer systems as well.
Well, it's quite similar in that the computer system is more or less more than one computer connected together, or additional hardware connected to a computer. So, if for instance you have a car, a computer will be like the engine, whereas a computer system will be the entire car itself.
Okay.
So it's an additional hardware component working together for a common purpose. So once you have a computer connected with a CPU, the desktop connected to a television as well, all of these things collectively will be considered a computer system.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so this particular act is a wide act,
yes,
which touches several modern offenses. What are some of the offenses created by this act?
Okay, this act covers a number of offenses, which includes computer-related forgery, computer-related fraud, data espionage.
Data espionage.
Correct.
Okay.
Interfering with data, interfering with computer systems, unlawful disclosure of access codes. But two of the more prevalent ones that we see are child pornography and unlawful communication. I believe Sergeant will elaborate more on those.
So we see that a lot within the Federation.
Number of
hours. Okay, we'll touch on that a little later then. Okay, a large percentage of persons use computers, internet, Facebook, other media platforms, and even this program itself is being streamed over Facebook and YouTube and different mediums where persons can listen and see us. Okay, can you please tell us what is unlawful communication in accordance to this act?
Yeah, like how Davey said just a while ago, this is one of the most common or most prevalent offenses we have seen as it relates to the Electronic Crimes Act. Basically, it is the sending of an electronic information via a computer system or computer, and you have to first look at the info that is sent.
The information that is sent?
Yes.
Okay.
If that information could be considered to be a threat or menacing in character, or probably something that is harassing to someone or obscene, then if the person who receives that information feels threatened or they feel
some form of emotional distress,
yes, all these things would be considered to be unlawful communication. So by using a computer system to send a message to someone, that the message itself is either obscene in nature. Obscene includes like nude photographs. Sometimes it could be what they consider bad words also. Harassing messages also, threatening messages. As long as the recipient of that message feels threatened, harassed, molested, or intimidated, or it doesn't only touch on the recipient. If the subject of that message is some other person and it comes to that person's attention, then it is considered to be unlawful communication.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
However, we're going to add on that now. Unlawful communication. Somebody receive a message from another individual that they find to be threatening.
Yes.
How can that particular offense be ventilated? Through the police, criminally, or civil?
Well, that is, I will touch on that as well. I mean, at first we introduce ourselves as, well, you introduce us as being from the white collar crimes unit. The police force has a cybercrime unit.
Yes.
That unit generally, they process computers, they analyze computers. In terms of investigating these crimes, we have the white collar crimes, the CID. These are the department that might investigate offenses of such. So if someone is a victim of an unlawful communication, for example, some person has published on their status some message calling you a thief, or calling you the words that you don't believe is suits your character. And of course, if the intention was to cause you to be embarrassed or feel harassed or so, if you send it to one person, people gossip, people talk. That would not be considered to be unlawful communication. But you're publishing something on your status or publishing something through your entire WhatsApp contact list, and that person who is the subject of the message feels intimidated or harassed or molested. Now that person could make a report to the police, and we could investigate that offense, and the person could be held liable. Also, you could also go to your lawyer, and of course you could sue someone. But the fact we are here today is to point out to the general public that you may commit an offense by sending out messages or forwarding messages that might be considered to be obscene, menacing character, etc.
Okay. So you can go to your lawyer to ventilate that particular.
Yes. Or you go to your local police and make a report.
Or you could go to your local police. Okay. One last question before you take a break, GQ. Being an experienced detective yourself, and Davey as well, have any one of you guys formally arrested and charged anyone for unlawful communication?
Yes. What is interesting about this, despite the fact that this law has been on the books in 2009, I'm only aware of about 3 instances where persons were charged with unlawful communication. That's what I'm aware of. I don't believe there's more, but it's a possibility that there might be other persons who were charged. I personally have charged 2 persons for that offense. One was convicted and was fined $6,000. And I am aware of other persons being charged. We have one instance where someone was charged for unlawful communication, where the victim of that crime was all the way in St. Vincent. However, when the case came up in court, that individual decided to forego prosecution. But the fact of the matter is that you could commit the offense while being overseas. You stay in England and send a message to somebody in St. Kitts, or distribute something via WhatsApp. If you were to return to St. Kitts, you could be arrested and charged for doing it. So this is one of the crimes that actually crosses jurisdictions.
Wow, it's so serious. Okay, GQ, can we take a break for a word from our sponsors? When we get back, we entertain some calls.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Hello, St. Kitts and Nevis. Go VIP with Prime. Here's your chance to be the Prime winner of the ultimate VIP experience to the festival from June 23rd. Simply activate any Prime Plus bundle or sign up to any Prime Plus postpaid plan for a chance to win big with Digicel. Get glammed or groomed, enjoy spa treatment, VIP pickup and drop off to the event, plus VIP passes for you and 2 friends. Yes, you heard right. It's time to go VIP with Digicel Prime Plus bundles. Activate via the My Digicel app or dial *141#. Digicel is better together.
At The Cable, we believe our customers should access the things they love from almost anywhere. So we weren't surprised when we heard people raving about our island-wide free Wi-Fi, like Lance from Connery Village.
Yo, The Cable, how are you? So good. Free Wi-Fi all over the place. I love it. Keep it coming.
We will, and there's even more on the way for you and for everyone else, because giving you more where it matters is what we're all about. We are The Cable and proud to be powered by people.
Okay, welcome back to another program of Policing with You. I have in the studio here with me Sergeant Jerry Watt and Detective Constable Davey from the White Collar Crime, and we are discussing Electronic Crimes Act. The lines are now open for any calls if you choose to call in and vent or give any suggestion or ask any questions concerning the Electronic Crimes Act. We have a call? Oh, that's early. Good. Morning, you're on the air.
Oli, you know I'm going to be here. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good program as usual. Electronic crime. I don't know if I understand it clearly, but electronic crime is like I gonna slander Bonansi on a media platform. Is that what electronic crime is, or verbally, or if I put it on a WhatsApp or whatever it is? What if I don't call the individual name that I'm accusing? Can they take me to court if I don't call the name? But also, if I call the name, then they could take me to court. Well, a lot of that is going on in the Federation on an everyday basis. It has all type of people get on different radio platform, and they try to humiliate people from the highest position in the community on Facebook and verbally on radio platform. And I want to know if anything can be done to those people who are doing that. That's my question. I'll listen up here for the answer.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. You care to answer that question?
The caller spoke about persons going on the radio. That is the thing with electronic crimes. We have to deal with computers or computer systems. So calling on the radio would not be classified as a computer-related crime, saying that the telephone that he used wasn't used to send the message, used a telecommunication network to send that communication right. But if you were to go on Facebook and you were to post messages or statuses or comments on Facebook that points to an individual, and you were to be messages that were considered to be obscene or threatening or menacing in character, of course, if that person feels harassed by the messages that you see, and we are able to identify these persons, of course that person could be prosecuted for unlawful communication.
Okay, and another challenge online is that some persons go on some fake names.
Yes.
In order to express themselves.
Well, it is a challenge, of course, but it's not something that we basically could say is we do have the capabilities of identifying persons. Not all of the time, but we do have international partners that may assist us in identifying persons who may be involved behind these fake Facebook names.
Okay, thank you. We have another call? Pleasant. Okay, lost that call. I'm sure we have another one. Pleasant, good morning. You're on the air. Police with you.
Yes, good morning, officers. I'm a little concerned. I want you to listen carefully. At the schools now, you got some people going on doing some malicious things at the school. Okay? So I want to know what you can do. The representative for the school, them like, say, okay, the school in Points, right? Had an incident there where some vendor selling them some shopping end up in the hospital. 5 of them under the age of 7 end up in the hospital on jeeps. You know, they say something about a sugar cake with guns or something. We want to know if nobody could do something about that, concerning the situation. I'm appealing to Aquila and Canwis and Mr. Politics. Look into this thing, and the police also. Look into this thing, because it's not sounding right. You can't govern, well, parents to tell people do not buy nothing, but it's children. People are under 7 years, end up in a hospital on jeeps. Oh, sweetie, because guys is stupid. We need to look into this thing. Thank you for your input.
Okay, we want to thank the caller for his contribution. What I would say is that it has come to the attention, I don't know specifically the incident that you're talking about, but it came to the attention of the police that in several schools, both in CFBC as well and other primary school and high schools, persons are now, we're hearing persons are now including marijuana in some cake and this and that and that. And that matter is being investigated by the law enforcement agencies, and anything that comes out of it If we find the persons, we'll have to prosecute them and bring them to justice. Have any more calls? Pleasant good morning, you're on the air. Police with you.
Hey, GQ.
Yes,
good
you're
morning,
on the
man.
air.
You're live. Go ahead. Yes, morning. You're live.
Yes, sir. You're live.
GQ.
Yes, man. Morning. You're live. You're live, Sonny Boy. Go ahead. Can you hear me, Sonny Boy? Go ahead. You're live.
Oh, this Sonny Boy.
Yes, man. Go ahead.
Good morning to you and Superintendent Francis.
Morning, sir.
My question to the sergeant is, are they connected to Interpol? If somebody commit egregious crime, can Interpol go and arrest that person?
Okay, we'll answer you off the air, unless you have another question.
Oh, you can't answer that?
Yes, we will answer you off the air. So ask your other question if you have any.
But I could hear you.
Yes, we are connected to Interpol, of course. What is the protocol as it relates to requesting assistance from the Interpol?
Yes, that's the answer to your question. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's the answer I was looking for. Thank you, GQ. Tell my brother Jamlin to say hello.
All right, man. You take care, Sonny Boy.
You too.
All right, we have another caller there, Superintendent. You want to take that?
Yes, please.
Hi, good morning. You're live.
Yes, heal up the man, Sonny Boy. Bigger brother. Right here. Jamlin right here listening. This me show I established with Queely. Good morning, Queely, in Morocco. Good morning to the host and the show and the guest. My good friend Sergeant Watt, how are you?
Good, sir.
Welcome to a show that I established in the early years with Commissioner Queely.
Yes,
Superintendent, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
When a person gets hold for gun offense or any other grievous crime, they got a time when they should get bail, right? And I personally don't want you all to go down the road where Walwyn used to go down, got people with simple crime, because you got fellas locked up for 3 years, 2 years over there. Once you hold a man and he ain't kill nobody, he entitled a bail. That's me question me and the attorney had the other day, And I feel it's bad where the Court of Conscience is hearing in the focus, that young man up Newtown with a child, a young child, locked up for almost 2.5 years, 3 years. And can't reunite the child. I know the child been getting ready to go primary school. No. Them things shouldn't be happening, Francis. If you find these things going on in the apartment with certain officers just trying to hinder that young man from getting a bail, no. This is a democracy. Have a good day. Bigger brother, Sonny Boy, you take care of yourself.
Okay, thanks for that call. Thanks for that contribution. What I would like to say with reference to that is that if somebody is arrested at the Bastard Police Station and charged on an E-form, then is when the bail can happen at the Bastard Police Station. If somebody is arrested on a warrant, bail occurs at the Magistrate Court or the High Court. Depending on the particular case, the person would be remanded. Remand has nothing to do with the police. How long a person is remanded has nothing to do with the police. That is a matter of the court to make a decision if to bail or not to bail based on the circumstances of the case. So the police would investigate a matter, charge the persons, and the matter would go to the court. The court would decide to remand or not, and then the case file will be submitted. So yes, persons are on remand for a year or whatever the case may be, as you indicated. However, it's the court would decide who would bail and when they would decide to entertain any bail. Okay?
All right, and Superintendent, I have to get accustomed. Superintendent.
Yes, sir.
We have a question for you, not related to the topic, but I'll ask the question regardless.
Yes.
If a parent walks in on a sexual assault of her special needs child, and she gives the police a statement that was signed, isn't that enough for an arrest for the individual? And if so, why isn't the man charged as yet?
Well, what I will is not related to the Electronic Crimes Act. No, it's just still a relevant question. What I would say in response to that is that investigations take time. If for some reason the mother, a parent, or guardian walked into, just like what you just mentioned, all relevant statements need to be taken. After the relevant statements are taken, the matter would be investigated. And once there's evidence to support the charge, then the person would be arrested. That is what I would like to say. I don't know if this incident happened over a 6-month span or whatever the case may be. But what I would like to add, if for some reason that particular individual is not pleased with the timing or the extent of the investigation, they can reach out to the person who is in charge of that particular department. In the case of sexual offense, we're talking about Special Victims Unit, and the person in charge of the Special Victims Unit would be Woman Sergeant Rogers. The person in charge of Woman Sergeant Rogers would be Inspector Smith, Inspector Mackie Smith. And the person in charge of Inspector Mackie Smith would be myself. And the person in charge of me would be ACP of Crime. What I'm trying to say is that everybody's accountable to somebody. You follow what I'm saying? So if you're disgruntled up, not pleased in some regard, and you need some form of explanation as to the extent of your investigation, your special needs child, and whatever the case may be, reach out to the particular department, to the person who is in charge, and ask a question. And they are duty bound to grant you an answer, because there might be certain things along that investigative line that might be hindering the progress or the forward movement of arresting the person.
Well, as a matter of fact, the individual go on to say that the person was charged, the man wasn't charged. He was locked up for 28 hours and then discharged.
There we go. So there must have been a reason. So what I'm urging that individual to do is go and reach out to the person in charge, Woman Sergeant Rogers or Inspector Smith, and try and get an answer, because there must be a reason. Because I know for a fact these particular units fall under ACP Mitchell's command, which is ACP of Crime. We take all the investigations seriously, and we follow the evidence to wherever it might lead us. And if it leads to the point where an arrest is necessary, our arrest is imminent, we will do it. We never pause on any arrest which have to be done.
All right, got
That's what
you.
I'm saying. Because sometimes individuals might say one thing to the police, but they say another thing in a statement.
Appreciate you for taking the time out on that. Let's go back to the phone lines.
No problem.
Good morning, you're live.
Yes, officer. I understand what you're saying, that sometimes the individual may say one thing to the police and another time they say something else. But if the person in charge of the victim walk in the house and they catch the person in there, what more evidence they want than that? Once the owner, the parent, catch the individual who committing the crime, I don't think that person should be out. No, they should investigate that person to the fullest and make sure that person give up all the travel documents, because once the person know they're guilty and you catch them, next thing they flee the island gone and nobody going to go look for them. That is how I see things does happen around here, and that should be stopped. Anyway, thank you for listening again, Jiku.
You're most welcome, man.
What I would like to say, it appears that it is an ongoing investigation, so it is not appropriate to ventilate anything further on that particular matter. Okay? Do we have any questions in relation to the Electronic Crimes Act?
Well, we'll find out now. Let's take this next call. Hi, good morning. You're live.
Good morning, JQ.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Politics.
And good morning to Superintendent Francis.
Morning, sir.
And to the sergeant there.
Morning.
Now, my simple question. I would like to, I just want to tune in where the electronic crime is all about. Anyway, you all have a wonderful day. You all doing a wonderful job. Doing your best. And that is what we want for the country. Blessed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, electronic crimes, like we said earlier, is about the use of computer systems to commit offenses. And computers includes everything such as laptops, desktops, and cell phones, tablets, and other devices that you could use to communicate via the internet.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to ask a question. With going into details, Sergeant Watt and Constable Davey, can you give the general public an example of what is actually unlawful communication? In terms of, I think you touched on it. I think you touched on it before.
Yeah, touched on it.
I think you touched on it. To move on, child pornography.
Yes, that is also something of grave concern to the police.
Yes.
Oftentimes we see persons or videos going about or photographs going about depicting children or minors involved in sexual act. The law makes provision for protect children and protect the of course they're vulnerable, so we have this section of the law that speaks to child pornography. What it entails is basically the sending of any electronic data that depicts visually a minor engaging in sexual act or someone who appears to be a minor engaged in a sexual act. Or it also includes realistic images of minors appearing to be involved in a sexual act or conduct. And the law says it's an offense for you to produce such or to possess it or to produce, possess or publish that information. What happens is that you might find a video going about with a child in school uniform engaging in sex, and the first thing many persons do is forward that to their contact list, put it on the WhatsApp status. That is a very serious offense. It's actually a felony in St. Kitts and Nevis. In the US, for example, if you were to do that, it's serious jail time you're looking at. So persons must be mindful that when you see videos come to your phone that might be of a child or someone who looks like a child engaging in an act that looks sexual in nature, you have an obligation to either delete that message or probably take it to the police, but you cannot or you ought not to forward it to any other person on your contact list. And of course, you must be reminded that your phone might come into the police possession at some point in time. It might be for an unrelated matter, and the police could go in there and they might see evidence whereby you probably forwarded videos of children having sex to some other person, and that right there is an offense and is punishable by up to, I think it's
$50,000 or
I think it's 5 years.
5 years in prison. Or both.
This is serious.
Or both. Yeah.
And for a legal person, it's $250,000.
For a legal person?
Yes, like a corporation or something.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any cars, GQ? Okay. Pleasant, good morning. You're on the air. Policing with you.
Yes, good morning again. Superintendent Francis.
Yes.
We are being seen around town. The court of conscience being seen around town. Young girls moving around town late at night. Police patrolling on 4th Street. These guys from up the island, that local police. Because I believe, although we have a breakdown on that, I believe local police will see that and realize, well, you is a young girl, come here ask me a question. And you ain't seen that from the police them at night. It is young girls moving around town. And you are going to do better than that, you know. You are going to do better than that. For what I've been seeing around town, and other elders talk about it daily at the terminal and other places. You are going to do better than that. You are going to brief these young officers when they see young little girls, especially certain time over by Port Zante by moving around and drinking hard liquor. It's a shame. Them things couldn't go any Stafford and Merrick and Hanley and what do they call this fellow? Steve Brooks, you know? Man, how you come alive, man? Come on, man. Come on, have a good day. This is Jam Young talking here.
Alright, Jam Young, thank you very much. What I would like to add is that the laws governing juveniles moving around, not only young girls, but juveniles. And yes, the police need to step up their game in challenging these juveniles who are out in late times as to why they're out so late and where are their parents. So I do agree that the police need to make some extra effort with reference to juveniles being out after hours. Okay? Okay? We have another call? Penalties. Let's talk about penalties under the Electronic Crimes Act.
Sure.
Penalties with reference to unlawful communication. We touch on penalties with child pornography. Could you elaborate a little bit?
Well, penalties for unlawful communication, if it's sent to, if the recipient is the subject of the unlawful communication, then the penalty is, I think it's $10,000
Yes.
or 12 months imprisonment or both. And if it's sent to someone and it's disseminated to more persons, then the penalty increases to $15,000.
Increases?
Yes, $15,000 or 2 years imprisonment or both. So it could be fined and confined.
So it's like you receive a WhatsApp of a long text which basically been talking about an individual in a very negative way, a way that is menacing in character, and you choose to forward it to somebody else. So the person who sent it to you might be guilty and probably get fined up to 12 months imprisonment, fine or 12 months imprisonment. Whereas if you forward to a third party, or the third party forwards to a fourth party and ongoing, these other persons are held to a higher standard for some reason. That's what the law says, so their penalty could increase.
Wow.
So you should, if someone makes a mistake and send you something, you don't forward it to somebody else.
So the person forwarding it gets a lot of punishment.
Yes.
So you're helping to spread it.
Exactly.
Okay. Any calls, GQ?
Yes, we do, but we'll take our last two final calls for this morning.
Calls.
Hi, good morning. You're live.
Yeah, hi, good morning, GQ.
Good morning.
And police officers there.
Morning, sir.
Is the unlawful communication a strict liability matter? And if you have 10 persons, you have the maker of a particular material that is unlawful and you send it out at first. Those who propagate the dissemination, is there a difference in the way they will be treated, or they are all treated the same way? The maker and those who help to send it throughout the public system.
Yes.
Also, is there a possibility that something could inadvertently be sent to other persons? Because sometimes I have my phone and it starts jumping around, dialing people's number, and then I have to struggle to put it to a pause and maybe call people and apologize to the fact that the phone jumped out of control. It is technology. Would that be a defense anywhere along the line?
Yes, your first question you asked whether or not it's a strict liability offense. The answer is no. It's left for the police to prove the offense, and it is based on its circumstances. So the mere fact that you forward a message or you send a message to somebody that might be harassing or probably obscene, it doesn't constitute an offense unless the intention is to cause the recipient or the person who is subject of that message to feel harassed. So it's all about the intention. So let's say you send a message to your friend and you just simply gossiping, then that's not unlawful communication. But if you send that message to everyone on your contact list, the intention automatically is to cause some embarrassment to the person. So that is what would be considered unlawful communication.
Malicious intent.
Sorry.
Malicious intent.
Malicious intent, exactly. And you also spoke about accidental dissemination. Of course, there's no intention if it could be proven to be accidental. But some of the cases are obviously intentional in that persons broadcasted on the status. There could be one intention from putting on your status. It's for everybody to see, or who you want to see. And therefore, you are publishing something that you might not believe to be true. And even in some instances, even if it's true, you could still commit an offense by publishing this information.
Okay. And I know the second one, we had spoke about it where the two persons are not treated the same. The person who sent it forward.
Before you answer that, is that it for you, Mr. Intel? You're good?
Is there still?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
You have another question?
No, I don't.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Thanks much for the engagement.
All right.
Yes,
I'll let you answer part 2 of the question now.
Yeah, what I was indicating is part 2 of the question that he had asked. They had addressed it a little earlier. I don't know if he was listening. Where the person who received the message, who sent the message first, get a particular penalty, but the persons who forward the message, the penalty increases.
Yes.
So that's basically what he was asking. Yes. Okay, we have one more call?
Well, yes, but we don't have a call at the moment, so we can call it that for the morning.
Beautiful. Yes. We'll close off by asking the last question. Powers of the police under this act.
Yes, the law treats this act a bit differently in the sense that the police has powers to arrest persons on suspicion, even if some of the offenses are summary matters. Ordinarily, you can't arrest somebody for a summary matter unless it happens in your presence. But this law gives the police the right to arrest someone to facilitate investigations. It also gives us the right to get production orders and all this stuff to facilitate the investigations. And of course, we say we're closing now, so I would like to just make our last comment. I want to urge the listening public to be responsible when they're utilizing their computers. Very, very often, you see persons committing serious offenses and they go unpunished because persons are not aware that they are victims of crime. But I guess after today, some persons might be aware that they are victims based on circumstances. And of course, the penalty is quite significant, so persons should be responsible when utilizing computers, which of course includes cell phones and iPads and this other stuff.
Okay. Yes, I would like to echo the same sentiments as Sergeant Watts. I would like to urge the public to be and keep abreast with the law. You can commit an offense unknowingly So I would just like to tell them, be careful, be mindful, and that's basically it.
Okay, thank you very much. What I would like to say is I want to thank Sergeant Watt, Detective Sergeant Watt and Detective David for taking time out from the White Collar Crime Unit to assist and share with us here on Policing With You about Electronic Crimes Act. I know the information was very informative, very enlightening, and very educational. I want to thank you guys. What I want to do as well, thank the Commissioner of Police and the High Command and for having this program going forward. I want to thank the sponsors. I want to thank your GQ management and staff of ZIZ. What I want to let the general public know is that investigations take time. This is not television, CSI and Matlock and all those kind of things. Investigations take time. Sometimes you might not be pleased with the timing, but it is important for each investigator to take his or her time to uncover all the evidence that is needed to support the charge that the accused or defendant is charged with. So it's about communication from the investigator to you and about communication from you to the investigators. You want to bridge the gap and you want to make sure that we have a full communication. So if you not feel pleased with your particular case, reach out to the investigator, reach out to his or her supervisor, and they are duty bound to communicate with you and let you know what the status is with your case. Okay, so see you next week. GQ, see you when I see you.